Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I went to a party last night and I talked for about 45 minutes to a banker he's a banker with probably one of the top 2 largest banks in the United States. And I was explaining to him, his mouth was wide open while I explained to him what I was doing and talking to him about Ripple and XRP, and he literally at one point in the conversation asked me if he needed to get out of banking. And I told him, I said, I don't believe you need to get out of banking. I think that you need to learn all of this stuff so that you can change with the banking system, and because the banking system is not going to be replaced, but it's going to change as you know it, and it would be a good idea to be a part and have a good understanding of how digital assets and blockchain is going to change the industry. But when at the beginning of the conversation, he started with the same old, well, isn't that for money laundering and all that? And I said, well, actually, digital assets can be tracked much easier than cash can be tracked. You can track a Bitcoin or a XRP transaction all the way back everywhere it's ever been. And that's a thing that a lot of people don't really grasp, but it's true. Now, today is one of the most important days of the year in the Southeast United States, more specifically Georgia and Alabama, because today Georgia plays Georgia Tech and Auburn plays Alabama. Just about every year, Auburn's mission in life is to destroy and obliterate Alabama's football season. And so that happens today at 3:30 Eastern time. If you're from this part of the country, you will definitely be watching it. And so, if you're from Europe, you just don't care. You want to watch football, which is fun. Actually, football is a bigger sport worldwide by far than college football over here. In fact, football is the largest, what we call here soccer. I think that's the largest sport in the world by far. It's, believe it or not, it's actually coming on stronger over here in the U.S. too. All right. This Mr. B sent out a tweet this morning, which I believe is one of the most important tweets I've seen all year. He says, PSA, if you're using Coinbase Pro and you don't want to have any issues cashing out when that day comes, be sure to fill out your tax information. It's a KYC world, folks. Thank you to Coining. This is Coining 203, who definitely deserves a follow. He brought this to Mr. B's attention, and give both of these guys a follow, because this is something that I did not even know, and I went in and fixed it in my own Coinbase Pro account. And this is what it looks like when you log in there and go to the tax section. It'll say status missing, and you have to get this information in by December 31st of 2019. Now, I find it interesting that I've never been notified, to my knowledge, I've never been notified by Coinbase of this. That is kind of creepy in itself. Nobody has ever, now maybe they have, but I swear I have never seen an email or anything letting me know that I had to do this by December 31st of 2019. It almost makes you, it almost gives you a little vibe like the IRS and the government would love to just take my digital assets. That's the feeling I get. Now, there's a couple of things with regard to taxes and digital assets that I have said for 2 years on this channel. The first is pay your taxes on your digital assets no matter what, because they will find a way to track what you have done. Do not think that you're going to get away with not paying taxes. Always pay your taxes. The second thing that I've said for 2 years on this channel is that all of this talk about the government worried about, consumers and consumer protection is one big load of crap. It has nothing to do with consumer protection. What has always scared them about digital assets is being able to track the taxes so that they make sure you're paying taxes on what you have. That's what this is about. That's what it's always been about. The government cannot lose control of their ability to collect taxes. It would be a complete nightmare for them. And so that's what this is all really about. And they can say that they give a crap about the consumer, but come on, give me a break. And then this thread kind of goes on here, and Mr. B, they said, what about regular Coinbase if you're not on Pro? Coining 203, do you know on this? Then he says, I'm not sure, but if you have level 3 certified on Coinbase, you should be good. You can go and check on your Coinbase app, the regular Coinbase app, to see what level of verification. Now, I don't care if that's true or not. You need to go ahead and get your level 3 verification. See, while everybody's crying the blues about the market, that's when you do these things. That's when you're able to do these things and you can get approved and get your tax situation approved and get your status approved. That is when you do these things. There are a lot of opportunities right now while the market's slow. The first opportunity, of course, if you're like me, is to buy the dips, if you really believe in this thing, which I do. The other thing is to make sure that you've got the highest approvals on your exit strategy possible. And this one is a new one that they're bringing to our attention now. They've literally got a tax section where you fill out your information and all this, and then you're approved, and it says accepted in green once you get approved, and then you're good to go. This is the most important thing that you can do today if you're listening to my voice, if you have not done it. Because make no mistake, these guys the IRS will be looking for a way, for an excuse to not let you cash your stuff out if they think for a second they're not going to get theirs. So, and then Coining 203 also showed the levels of verification. This is level 3. So go to Coinbase, the regular Coinbase. And for those of you that don't know, if you have a Coinbase account, you also have a Coinbase Pro account. You just go to Coinbase Pro, type in your same username and password, and then use hopefully you've got 2-factor authentication. It works on both sites. It's the same information. Okay. So you need to log into both of them. And when you log into Coinbase Pro, you need to also go to your limits section and apply for them to increase your limits. Your limits can go a lot higher than you think what I have always told people to do is tell them, don't make things up, but if you've got a lot of XRP, just tell them that you plan to cash out on their platform and you need a higher limit than what you've got. That's what I did. Okay, moving along. And this is also, Mr. B's having a big morning today because he finally broke the ice. When I was a kid and we played basketball, we would play, I believe the game was 21. When you made your first shot, that was called breaking the ice. And that was a basketball term. Well, the hard part is done because Mr. B did his first video this morning. Go give him a subscribe and a listen. He's a very smart guy. I've spent a lot of time with Mr. B talking to him on the phone. I spent personal time with him in Vegas and at Swell. The guy is smart. He's been around. He's got some experience like I do just because of his age. He's worked extremely hard his whole life, and he has a lot of life experience and everybody out there, and he's been in this game for a good while now too. And so anybody out there who needs another channel to listen to, Mr. B would be a good one. And he put out his first video today. And here's his channel. Go give him a subscribe. He talks about exchanges, cold storage, Ripple, and XRP. Let me make sure let's see. And click you'll get all notifications. Click on the bell here so that you get a notification when he goes live as well. And here's what his video today is about. Consider how you hold your assets. Plan to cash out and not get iced out by your exchange when you want to cash out. Very important first video here. He's Mr. .bxrp is his channel. So go give him a subscribe. And okay, Bank XRP had sent this out this morning. Ripple's Naveen Gupta. This is the guy who said that we're not here. The Ripple's not here to just do some business. We're here to put a dent in the universe. And so he's got this is from Bank XRP, another definite follow. Ripple's Naveen Gupta, a deep talk, show me the money. He talks in here about how they've just gotten started with MoneyGram, and he's talking about how this is more or less just the beginning. Interesting little snippet, I guess is the right word. So go and watch this. He's always fascinating. He's one of my favorite people at Ripple because he's one of the most positive. Michael at VAL5 Links. I just thought this was interesting. United States prosecutors announced the arrest of Virgil Griffith, who traveled to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to deliver a presentation on how to use cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology to circumvent sanctions. Well, this guy's obviously a genius. So now that's like kind of like the equivalent of treason right there. So not too bright to go over and do that. So this guy's in trouble now. And notice, you'll notice the theme of this video. You'll notice that there's a lot of governments that it's kind of like they're tightening the screws on all of this. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that they are finally getting ready to have the kind of regulations in place that are going to put us all in a situation where this thing can take off. They have to be able to control the tax situation and the regulation situation before they can let all this go. And I think that's what all the time between 2017 and now has been spent by these governments doing, and also making sure that they're going to be competitive in this new world. New financial world. NBK Crypto at NBKLYRAD sent me this. And here's another one. I was just made this from XRP Euphoria. I was just made aware that my bank will penalize anyone making any crypto purchases by flagging the account and immediately shutting it down. The reason? They say crypto is too unregulated and thus in the same category as marijuana. Get moving, United States. I mean, come on, man. And this has happened. I mean, there are people, and I won't name any names, but I talked to people who literally work for Ripple who said they had had their bank accounts shut down. And these are people that work at Ripple who had had their bank accounts shut down because they were dealing in buying digital currencies or digital assets. So this isn't just you and I out here. X-Men XRP. At XRP33 sent me this one, and this is another interesting thing. Remember, this says Russian central bank molds new ban on Bitcoin and crypto. Now, remember, yesterday, if you look at the bottom here, this is what we covered yesterday. Meanwhile, leading cryptocurrency exchange, because I remember having trouble saying the name, Huobi, is rolling out new products and services under its local exchange, Huobi Russia, the exchange announced on Facebook that its Moscow operation, which launched a year ago, is gearing up with a slate of new offerings. And it's got all these things that are being offered in Russia. And then this article comes out today. Russia's central bank is reportedly considering a broad ban on the use of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for payments. According to the state-sponsored news outlet RIA Novosti, the Central Bank of Russia supports legislation that would ban the use of Bitcoin in commerce. The ruble is the only legal tender in the Russian Federation. We continue to believe that cryptocurrencies carry significant risks, including in the field of laundering of proceeds from crime and financing of terrorism, as well as in conducting exchange transactions due to sharp exchange rate fluctuations. Well, I've got some good news for the Russian government. Bitcoin is a terrible thing to use for payments, and it's not going to ever be effective at making payments anyway. So Russia, you have nothing to worry about there. You don't even have to ban it because it's not effective enough, and it doesn't move fast enough. If you go into Starbucks to get a cup of coffee and use Bitcoin, your coffee, it's literally going to be cold before the transaction goes through. So no worries there, Russia. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't allow everybody to buy and sell it. While I'm talking, I'm watching the Auburn highlights. They're going through the highlights of what has happened. I'm going to have to pause that so I can watch it when I get done. They're showing the what do they call it? The kick six from Auburn, Alabama, the best play, probably the #1 play in football history. This is from the crypto utility guy. Year 2022. So many money transfer companies using the same limited XRP on the same ledger. So many banks and central banks using the same limited XRP on the same ledger. Sologenic tokenized stocks and bonds moved by the same limited XRP on the same ledger. Is there enough XRP? And that is a great question. The reason I showed up to this party is because if there was not a cap on the number of XRP that there are and will be, I wouldn't be here. That's a pretty important factor. And he's making a very good point. We're sitting here as XRP holders with less than 1% of the population that even knows what Ripple or XRP is. And you've got a limited amount that can be, that will ever be at 100 billion. That's a pretty nice place to be. You can't say that about the US dollar. You can't say that about the yuan or any fiat currency, because you should ask the Venezuelans. You can't say it about their currency, which is worthless now. Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 from Jack the Rippler. But boom is what he puts on every single tweet he does. Deutsche Bundesbank will use XRP. Europe will use XRP. A loyal follower of me has sent me this. And this is interesting. This is Deutsche Bundesbank, some kind of presentation. Instant payments, fintech, and blockchain challenges ahead in European payments landscape. If you go along here, this is a presentation by this guy from Deutsche Bundesbank. And look right in here, use of crypto technology, DLT settlement platform Ripple. You got Ripple, Swift, Bitcoin. I can't even believe that's even mentioned. But they're talking in here about, and then you got, look at this, Ripple. They mention Ethereum, Bitcoin. There's Circle. We know that company. I think that's Abra. Instant payments, fintech, blockchain, the blockchain universe. And so this was a presentation from back in 2017. So it's like we keep saying, under every rock, under every financial rock in the world, somewhere you will find Ripple and or XRP. And that continues to be the case. Savvy XRP, the Bitcoin Lightning Network usage is down 50% since July from 12M to 6M. Ouch. I don't think I need to add anything to this. The lack of utility speaks for itself. And here's the thing. From the beginning of their talk about the Lightning Network, I had never heard anything positive about the thing in my life, not one time. Now this is cool right here. You got to see this. This guy, who's obviously some kind of developer, has set up his XRP tip bot with these lights, I guess, in his office, integrated with XRP tip bot. No matter what effect is currently showing, whenever the tip is received, it shows a blue explosion. Well, that right there, my friends, looks like a product you could sell. How cool is that? So he's getting a tip whenever it turns blue. That's really cool. Okay, the folks, don't forget, this is through December the 2nd. The Ledger Nano S people are doing so that's today, tomorrow. They're doing this, I think, through Monday is the day. But 30% off all of the Ledger products, and you can get a pair like a Nano S and a X, which is the one that uses Bluetooth, for $104. It's usually $178. You can get the Ledger Nano X, usually $119. Now it's $83. The Ledger Nano S, which is what I have, you can get it in all these colors, usually $59. Now it's $41. So this sale is going on for about 2 more days. 30% off everything. So if you're seeing all of these stories about these exchanges that we're finding out people are frauds, and we've said it 1,000 times, maybe 100,000 times on this channel. Do not keep your digital assets on exchanges. So I'm gonna keep showing you this till this sale's up. So because if you're ever going to get one to try to keep your digital assets safe, it's a way to store them on a hardware offline, your private keys offline, and that's everything. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that Mr. B just started his YouTube channel and they need to go subscribe and hit his subscribe and hit his like button. Thank you for listening.